Life is too good to lose it to alcohol. I nearly lost my life through exactly that. I'd been sober for 8 years, and then 2014, 10 years ago, I had another drink and drank solidly for 5 years. 2019, I was admitted to hospital with severe liver and abdominal problems, including ascites fluid, spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, and I was given 50-50 chance of survival. I was in that hospital for 2 years over COVID, unfortunately. That was not pleasant for myself or the hospital staff, I'd imagine. And a couple of years ago, I managed to pull myself around. Everything's pretty stabilised now. I'm living a good, healthy life again. Now, a lot of people relapse. And to me, this is the killer, the relapse. There's no way that I would ever drink again, because I know for a fact, and the doctors have told me this, I will die. Now, my life at the moment is pretty perfect. I'm probably happier now than I've ever been in my life. The power of addiction is massive, as you may be aware, especially if you're a heavy drinker, or as I like to call it now, a dangerous drinker, because you never know when the urge, the craving will bite you on the backside, as it were, and you've got to be so strong. I fought for my life for 2 years, and I've been given a second chance. A message is to you, exactly as in the title, life is too good to lose to alcohol. You've got to really focus. Now, I got a lot of comments since I started this channel 5 months ago. It's going quite well, about people being a similar mess to me, some being much worse, which is unthinkable. And the best way I can describe it, what I went through, is torture. To be trapped, to be ill, to be reliant on others to do everything for you sometimes. And you get to a point where you're feeling good. You decide to have one drink, and then you're back to square one. It won't happen on the first day. 6 months later, you'll be back to square one, and it will always be worse. Every time you relapse, it's worse. But we always think, as I did, I'll control it, it'll be fine. But it's never fine. We're addicts, we can't control how much we have. We can't have one drink, we can't have 5 drinks, we need 1,000. The body can't stand anymore. Especially as you get older, get more complications. You've got to try your best to keep fit and healthy. Life's tough at the best of times. And it's not easy when you get sober to deal with life. But it's a hell of a lot easier than when you're drinking, because, as I mentioned yesterday in the anxiety video, if you get anxiety on top of illness, it makes it doubly worse. So if you're having any issues with alcohol and you've stopped or you want to stop, then you get this urge to try again, because you will, especially when you feel better. You think, oh, I can control it and I'll be fine. You must focus on how bad you feel, or how bad you felt, how ill people are, because it takes thousands of lives every year, 3 million in the world. And I think that's a conservative estimate, to be fair. Because it doesn't just affect the liver and the kidneys, it affects the pancreas, it affects your blood pressure. Mental health is a big problem as well. Quite a lot of suicides are put down to alcohol use. It can also be a gateway drug to other things, stronger drugs, cocaine, heroin, that sort of thing. Alcohol is so available now, it's everywhere, isn't it? I passed a garage yesterday, a petrol garage, obviously. 24-hour off license available. I mean, it not only encourages drink drive, it also encourages people to go out in the middle of the night and sneak out. I knew a lad quite well, a good friend of mine, who had issues like me, and maybe like yourself. They'd been told by the doctor, numerous doctors, as I was, don't drink, it's going to kill you. His wife was very strong, good woman, and She got him settled into a habit of staying home, this, that and the other, having a few drinks, cut right down. Didn't stop completely. Anyway, a couple of years ago he died. I'd lost touch with him when I'd been ill myself. And I said, how, to some of the guys, what was the issue when his wife was keeping a close eye on him? She was trying to help him, you know. And he'd been getting up in the middle of the night and nipping down to a garage and getting more drink. Drinking it in the street or in the back garden or something and getting back in bed again. So addicted, you see. And when you want to come off alcohol, you can't do it for your wife, your girlfriend, or your partner, or your children, or your family. You've got to do it for yourself. And that's the hard part, really. You've got to admit you've got a problem, look at your life, where you want to be, because when I drank, I had a good job, I managed to function as an alcoholic for a long time. Eventually it'll come to the point where you can't function. You start taking sick leave, you're more lethargic, you'll have medical issues and all sort of thing. And people will notice that you've got a problem. Even people who you're not that close to will come and say, you know, I think you're drinking a bit too much. But you'll be in denial. You'll think, oh, I can still control it, it'll be fine. You maybe cut down a little bit, but you'll start up again. And you get into more and more problems. Then you'll start to feel worse. Then you look at your finances, and they'll be shot to pieces. I'd imagine your marriage or your relationships fall apart. Your kids are getting a bit older, they'll disown you. Most of the old soaks, as I'll call them, in the pub now, the single men in the 50s and 60s who will go in, have a few drinks, take a newspaper in, pretend to read it and not really look at it. Some are in the pub for 10, 12 hours a day. And there's a particular chain of pubs where they're very cheap for beer. Open, I think, from 9 a.m. to serve alcohol till midnight. And then some people will go to the garage or an off license, just 24-hour off licenses, and get more drink and sit in the house and drink more and more and more. And as I mentioned in the past, I never drank any spirits, but it doesn't matter if you drink spirits or wine, beer or whatever. It all contains ethanol, which is the poison, which will eventually harm your liver, your pancreas, and all the rest of it. And then you get your high blood pressure, you have accidents. There's a higher risk of certain cancers when you drink too much, especially throat cancer, stomach cancer. You've got so many other things linked to it as well. Your whole life will feel, as I said, torturous, really, and you become insular, lose your confidence, you lose everything. It will take everything from you. And there's quite a few famous quotes about it, you know. It wants to take your life, and it will take your life. And the average problem or dangerous drinker, as I like to call them, will die 20 to 25 years sooner than the general population. It's a huge, huge, huge chunk of life. So be careful out there. If you've got any issues, major issues, then obviously contact your doctor. Please subscribe to the channel if you want some help. I'll be able to help you in practical ways. Leave me a comment if you have anything to say about this video, or if you want me to cover anything specific, then drop me a line. I'll speak to you all soon.